So, alright, moving on to, because I think this needs to be talked about, and probably could be its own video, but it's a change that's happening around the same time as other changes, so I think it's alright to talk about.
Right, so we need to talk about the Battlegrounds.
Yeah, so upcoming changes to Battleground queues is what this is titled on the ESO forum.
So remember, this was taken back in when? September when?
September 14th is when this was originally posted.
And then October 15th, which is currently the day today. We're recording this a little bit before.
Yeah.
But however, this was today that they have updated the patch notes. They've titled it within, so that we know where the change was. They were running an official test. The test was conducted on live servers for some reason. I'm sure many of you have noticed over the last month that all your Battleground queues have put you in deathmatch.
Yeah, and that's so to the point of they don't communicate things well. I can't say necessarily that this wasn't communicated well because I saw it.
It's at the end. At the very end, they just don't. Yeah.
So I saw when I was trying to find this thread, people saying, "Hey, our queues broke?" Or like, not that. That's not any like a good example of what I'm trying to say.
Our queues
there were
like
threads
issues
on here that were like, "What's going on? I'm only getting deathmatch." Like,
yeah.
So that happened after this originally did, so it like wasn't put in enough places for everybody to see it, which is it's kind of hard to do anyway. But so when Battlegrounds first launched, they initially saw some data and feedback showing a preference specifically towards the deathmatch game mode, which, all right, like without getting too deep into what they've done here, I'm gonna say this:
deathmatch is something.
It is. Cyrodiil exists, Imperial City exists, Battlegrounds exists, right? Like in those things, all fundamentally function a different way.
And right after that, I'm gonna jump the gun just a little bit, where they say that people were treating Chaos Ball and land grab modes as deathmatch, which is, I'm gonna be straight up with you, like Zos, if you're listening, it's straight up like. That's how players play sometimes.
Right, it is. And here's the other thing, like, if you have Chaos Ball specifically, if you have the Chaos Ball, or you know your group mate has the Chaos Ball, you gotta kill everybody else, because the Chaos Ball hurts.
Yeah, it's a deathmatch then, but it's not...
it's not deathmatch entirely.
But it's very, very dependent on can you kill or be killed.
Right, it's not that it's getting treated solely... And some people may be doing that. They may just be going in. But, like, here's the thing.
You're not going to...
Battleground doesn't end...
by kills.
Right. And it won't ever end if nobody picks up the Chaos Ball. So,
and it won't ever end if they leave the fucking flags.
Right.
Like, someone has to be playing.
There is a time limit. I will say that. So, there is a time limit on Battlegrounds. But here's the thing. Like, you don't get... everything you should get out of it if you didn't play the way the game wanted you to play.
Yeah.
So,
well, you don't get your merits, your rewards. You don't get the little assists, trophies, and you don't get it if you're just killing shit. No.
So
you get some of them for killing people, but they're not as much as you would if you played the actual game mode.
Right. So the edit for today. Thanks so much for participation, patience, and feedback while we experimented with only having the deathmatch game mode available. It was important for us to run this for a few weeks to ensure we had an accurate representation of overall involvement and interest in Battlegrounds during this time. So, like, it's cool that you think this. It's not cool that you took it away to begin with. Because here's, like, my opinion is this. Cyrodiil's there. That's what that is. That's deathmatch. Like, it is, but even in that, it is land grab also, because you have to get keeps.
Cyrodiil is all three, almost, because if you think about it, like, the Chaos Ball and the Elder Scroll, is kind of similar. But the thing about it is, like, you can play Cyrodiil in so many different ways and still benefit the war effort.
Yeah. So, Cyrodiil exists.
Imperial City,
smaller version of that. Like, Imperial City's fucked up.
Imperial City's just deathmatch with mobs.
Yeah, it's deathmatch with other shit besides players that can kill you dead real quick.
Yeah.
Like, and it depends, because, alright, so here's the thing. Battlegrounds are all CP lodge. right? Like,
Yeah.
and the only division is, are you 49 or are you 50?
Yep.
So, and that's needed, I think, in my opinion. That's fine. It's okay.
I think
Because it's CP law.
Yeah, and now the new change is that they're gonna just roll in a general queue upon with it. So you're gonna have deathmatch only solo, deathmatch only with group, and then you're gonna have random queue with group and random group with solo.
Yeah.
That's gonna be an issue. Here's the thing. Here's why I'm gonna go into why it's an issue. I'm gonna talk about it for just a moment. Deathmatch, when you queue in as deathmatch, you are queuing only deathmatch, which means that if there is 50% of the players playing only deathmatch and 50% of you playing just random,
Right.
the issue is that you're spread across 3 different game modes or 4 different game modes, and they're only split across 1. The conflict here in the coding is going to be that there are more games made for deathmatch specifically. So what's going to happen is when a group is formed for Battlegrounds, they are formed by one person overall.
Yes.
They don't show you this, but one person is the leader.
Right.
And one person hosts, they're not really hosts, but like in a way hosts the game. It's not a hosting, but it's what it is. So when you go into the game and you form your group, you're the leader, and you might not know who is the leader, but one of you is.
Right.
Now, you're going into a deathmatch. Why is all the random queues going to go into deathmatch? Because there are going to be so many people re-queuing deathmatch
Right.
that there are going to be more parties formed for it, and you as a random group, random solo player, will just get thrown into those big fill-out groups. Essentially, there's going to be a situation where all the games that are playing, like half of them are deathmatch, and that leaves the other 3 of them only like a really small chunk of the pie.
Right.
Because everyone who filters through is going to go into one of these fill groups, and they're just going to get thrown into whatever's biggest, whatever is the first one that's there. The code's going to search for the first game it can find, and turns out deathmatch might be the one. And you're going to end up where your random queue is going to become deathmatch 70% of the time.
Right.
But
Because you've got a structure that you built that says, hey, you can queue only deathmatch, which is, you know, if that's what you want to do here, fine, okay.
why can't we solo only Chaos Ball?
Yeah,
Or-
Capture the Relic, or
Yeah.
Domination, or Crazy Kings, or whatever.
Yep.
Like,
So what they need to do, there's
By
5
not
modes.
allowing that.
5 modes. So that means that there's going to be 50% of just deathmatch,
yeah.
which is, I mean, I
The
think,
other 50% is going to be small amounts of the other games.
yeah, there's 4 other games going on, and a 50% over just one game has the other half. I mean, look, I might do 50% of the damage in the dungeon, but that doesn't make it okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's part of it, is we're going to have issues here. We're going to have a lot of issues here with this change, and I don't even see the reason for changing it.
No, just go back to what it was before.
Yep, absolutely. There's no reason to filter out like this. If you want to filter out like this, do it right. What you do,
Either separated entirely, right?
yeah. Well,
Or-
what you need to do is have a rant. Realistically, there's 2 solutions, and only one of them really fixes the issue. The one that fixes the issue is a rollback system. We go right back to what we were. That fixes all this issue.
Yeah.
Because guess what? The issue was created by ZOS, and now it's being fixed by them. So
Right.
they're just making an issue to fix. This is not something you should congratulate them over.
No, it's not.
This is them just making an overthought issue, and they're just over-engineering every little piece. Now, deathmatch should have, if we're gonna do the other way, it should be deathmatch has its own queue, solo and group for every one of these. So you got deathmatch, you got capture the relic, you got land grab, and then you have chaos ball.
Right.
So you got 4 different queues, and then you got random queue, and then you just, that's it. Land grab, because chaos or crazy kings and domination can go interchangeably. That's fine because they're the same game mode, just played a slight bit differently.
Right.
Chaos ball is a completely different game. Capture the relic's a completely different game. Like, it's capture the flag, like it's different.
Right.
And then you just write in, and then you got fucking team deathmatch, and then there you go. You got 4 fucking queues, and you got a 5th one for anyone who just does whatever. That's how you segment players, but that's the other only solution. So just stop it. There's no reason for this. Just go back to what we were before, This is a bad change. It's a horrible change for the PvP side of it. Like, people should be able to filter through or not at all.
Yes. That's the thing that I see. Like, all right, so if you're pulling deathmatch out and making it its own thing, now it's not in the random queue at all.
Yeah, they need to just take it out. Look, that's another way, I guess, if you want to think about it. There's your third solution. Take it out of the random pool.
Yeah.
Make deathmatch its own thing.
Because if it's an option, it goes back to the shit we were talking about a second ago, where if half the people are queuing up for deathmatch, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let them do that, but not affect my chances of getting into a non-deathmatch queue.
I like Chaos Ball the most. I like Capture the Relic pretty well too. So both of those game modes, I would rather just play those all day. Like, if I could play any game mode all day, it would be those two, and that would be it. Like, that would be my PvP experience. I don't like Team Deathmatch because all it is swarms of dudes, swarms of people
that are
wearing
running Dark Convergence.
It's all three of them have Dark Convergence, and one of them runs a set that like boosts everyone, and then they just go bang bang bang, and everyone dies.
Yeah.
And four of them are just using the same ability to throw Dark Convergence down, and it's not good. It doesn't work.
No, and it's not even like, I'm not even mad at Dark Convergence really. Like,
I am.
think, okay, they fuck with proc sets overall though, right? So
in Cyrodiil, not in Battlegrounds.
Right. You're still doing something to
proc it. You have to
something to proc it. So you
it's not a
Dark
chance system.
And now, no, it's not a chance. It's not a chance system at all. You put an AOE down that has a circle. So like, you go get Razor Caltrops. Right?
Yeah, I don't think Caltrops procs it, but I know there's a few of them that do.
Caltrop procs it.
Does
I've seen it happening today, yes.
Oh, wow.
So, like,
you just grab whatever that procs it.
Yeah, you just grab something that procs it, and every 10 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever it is,
I
can't remember off the top of my head, but every that many seconds you can proc it.
Yeah.
So
right, you just
like,
could.
Now I got a user interface that tells me when Dark Convergence is over.
Yep.
So I can just continually proc it, which is fine if I can proc all proc sets anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not fine because it's nerfed in Cyrodiil, so like, what's the point?
Why is it
outside of Battlegrounds? There is no point for it.
Dark Convergence in Battlegrounds though causes an issue because here's the thing: some of those small team deathmatch areas, like, they're really small.
Yeah.
Like, you got like, what is it? It's
getting the lava to get out of it.
Yeah, and and what's the weirdest one? Remember the one we just did? It was a small castle one, and all there is an upstairs and a downstairs. And the thing is, there's like, the only way to go up is through going upstairs, which means that if you put something there, you're gonna get like half the team killed, like before they can move out.
Yeah.
Because 3 of you have Dark Convergence procs right there.
Right. It's a problem, and it's not. Like,
you're either running Dark Convergence or you're not.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're dead.
Yeah.
If you're not.
I've been able to kill some Dark Convergence sets, but I tell you, it's a lot harder because they're just... Dark Convergence itself is one of those sets that needs a nerf.
Yeah, it's overpowered. And so when I was pulling these pages up, I saw that apparently Dark Convergence has already been nerfed. It didn't get nerfed hard enough to like balance it, right?
So yeah, you said it was already nerfed. We played today.
And everybody on one group had it. Like, I swear, if it wasn't everybody, it was 3 out of 4 of them.
It was a majority, and then the other guy was a Templar, I think.
Yeah.
No, the Templar had it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the Templar had it.
Like, look, I was playing a Templar. Templars are broken. All right, they're broken. Don't let them wear Dark Convergence.
Right.
Like, I think we need to have a class lock on that. I'm kidding. But the thing is that, like, Dark Convergence doesn't work in Battlegrounds. It just murders everything. Or, sorry, it works too well.
Yeah,
that's what I'm meaning.
Too well. That's why it doesn't work.
And so we have a set that works too well in small areas, and all it is right now is allowing you to fight people, and that's it.
Here's the thing. So one of the changes in update 32 is a preferential item drop. If it works on the loot box,
then everyone's gonna have Dark Convergence.
Yeah, so it's not gonna matter anymore. It's gonna be a bunch of Like, all right, you're standing at the flag. I'm gonna drop Dark Convergence in a spot that'll pull you out of it.
You know what it really is?
And it's gonna kill you. So now you gotta come back.
ZOS is making a second issue now. They're making another issue because now they're gonna have to rebalance the set because they did this preferential looting. If it works on that, then they're gonna have to rebalance it. Yeah. And then guess what? People are gonna have more gear, but they're gonna have gear that's like different, and then it's just all gonna compound into a big issue where people are you're gonna run into a battleground. All right, you're gonna queue random. You're likely gonna get team deathmatch.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get team deathmatch. You're gonna queue in. All right, you're running your second spec, which isn't your perfect spec because you're treating it like whatever right now. So you got this second spec that you're running, which the gear in it isn't quite figured out yet because the preferential loot system. But you're wearing Dark Convergence, so guess what? The whole battleground is just team deathmatch, Dark Convergence, and then it's over.
Yeah.
And that's
pretty much
it seems like I don't know, maybe we're doomsayers on this, but it really does seem like they just created a system that will compound only on the PvP players, which is the people that probably need the most help right now.
They need the most balance in the game.
Oh my god. Like dude, PvP is just it's become a big issue where you just can't play it. You can't play it unless you're running Dark Convergence.
Yeah.
You can't play it unless you're a Nightblade or running Dark Convergence or a Templar. And if you're any other class than that, except maybe a Dragon Knight, you're fucked.
Like, so I can queue in, and I accidentally figured out, on a total accident, because I did not build the Sorcerer to do PvP. But it turns out he's actually decent at it.
Right.
So I can queue in, and one of two things happen. Under the deathmatch system, right? One of two things happen. Either I'm wet paper, and I'm built to take hits, but I'm wet paper because Dark Convergence everywhere I step.
Remember, you have armor cap.
You do have armor cap.
You have armor cap.
Yeah. So you
are at armor cap.
Right. As soon as something hits me, my resistance caps out.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what
So here's the thing.
I'm gonna hit cap.
You are armor cap. How does Dark Convergence feel?
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. But this is the two situations that you have in PvP with only running.
Jeez, that's chair is squeaky.
It is squeaky, I know. I gotta replace it. It's gonna happen. So you queue in and one team, and that's all they do is PvP all day long. So now you can't play because every time you spawn in, you die, or you spawn in with 12 people that don't intend on playing PvP ever. So it's truly about skill. Did you spec right? So it's unbalanced gameplay. You don't have look.
PvP isn't balanced inherently.
Okay, I get that. People don't play these games always to play PvP. I get that. So if I queue in, my team sucks and everybody else sucks. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But those people don't have a chance because I know how to play my character in a PvP setting because I figured out on accident that he's actually already decent at it. I didn't have to spec into it. So all right, when I throw Crystal Frag and it hits you for 16k off the proc thing because I was using something else.
Yeah.
And it procs, and now I get the free one that does 66% more damage, and you're dead.
Yeah.
When I hit you with Crystal Frag because you're standing in my unstable wall, you're dead.
Yep.
And I will run around murdering a battleground. I've done that. I've queued in and done that.
Yeah,
every person not in my group.
I've had that situation too at the Warden, even where I just slam everyone into the ground to a fine pace. And
the other option though is just as toxic shit. It's just as shit and just as toxic because the other option is you queue in and all 8 people you're against are PvP elite, which is fine again.
But they're wearing Dark Convergence now.
But they're PvP elite and they're Dark Convergence, they've got it. And because why wouldn't you? If you do a certain thing so much, you're gonna have the set. Right?
Dark Convergence itself, I think, in a strange twist of fate, is probably the main thing rebalancing that.
Yeah.
Because think about it, you can have
Blade Carrier's bad too. Man.
You can be a guy who just plays the game casually and happen to have gotten the Dark Convergence set.
Yeah.
And guess what? You're not a good PvPer.
You are now.
You are now.
Yeah.
So it's the great equalizer.
Yeah.
The trash players, and I'm going to say it like that, because there are people who just suck. All right.
Yeah.
The people who just suck, they're now good.
Yeah.
And the people who were okay or good, like, they're dead. And now the only people who are left is the bad people with Dark Convergence and the good people with Dark Convergence.
That's it, yeah.
And then anyone who is like, I just want to play my build, you're out.
Yeah.
You're out. You're not gonna face a full Dark Convergence team, 2 of them especially.
No.
You're gonna go in, you're gonna be like, I don't really like Dark Convergence. Like, I don't genuinely like it. I think it's too broken. I genuinely don't like it because of the power. I think it's broke and I shouldn't wear it. Like, I feel that way about it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to wear something that's going to override my character.
I promise, like, look, I got the bow. And I'm starting
never
to get the
wearing
other
it.
pieces. But here's
I'm never
what.
going to wear it again. I wore it for one
I'll put
battleground.
that motherfucker on and I'll run around with AoE. Like, I'll run around with Razor Caltrops because I know what I'm doing in PvP. Like, now you're screwed.
Yeah. Hey, you remember that battleground I did with it on?
Mm-hmm.
You remember I was running the Nightblade, and remember I dropped one, and then I used Soul Tether, and oh my god, remember I wiped out that whole team.
Yeah, it's game over.
Yeah, the whole team was wiped out. Because I have a thing that stuns you, and I also have Dark Convergence out. It's an area stun and Dark Convergence, you're done for.
Yeah. Like, I just think they started messing with stuff. Because Dark Convergence is bad, but like Plague Carrier is bad too. It really is.
They need to rebalance these PvP sets. The PvP sets are just really, they're just...
They took a group activity and made it where you need to be by yourself. Because Dark Convergence, if the team is grouped up and they drop it on you, the whole team is dead.
Yep.
Plague Carrier is the same way. Like, it doesn't pull you into a circle that somebody laid on the ground, but what it does do is if you're with your group, you're all gonna die most likely, because like
Dark Convergence breaks up group play. Like, remember before Dark Convergence, I remember the days before whenever 2 teams would clash at each other, and it would take like a good minute before the battle was over. Like, everyone was clashing, the whole thing was all about tactically playing, at least in some regard, where you had to actually do something valuable. Like, you couldn't just run in and go, I'm gonna hurt things. You had to go, I'm gonna do that guy right there. I'm gonna make him suffer because he's the one healing. Like, you had to think about it for like half a second. And now it's like, who really cares? Throw a Dark Convergence in the middle, and then guess what? That whole skirmish that was happening, no longer happening.
Right. Like, I built a character, the Dragon Knight, who is not done, and is the reason nobody has seen it yet. But like, because I don't want to go, hey, this is how I built my character, and then somebody see it and be like, I can't play like that. Like, all right, yeah, because he's not done.
He's not done. Not even close.
He's not. But
he's getting ironed out.
He's getting ironed out. But like, all right, so I built, and I understand what's like should be important in PvP over PvE, and what shouldn't be. So I built the character that way, right? Based on like fundamental gameplay that happens in these areas.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's all about crit, so you get the impenetrable and your crit resistance, right? So
that's there are balancing acts there.
Still, yeah, I can. Like, I can do well, and I don't even have the right gear on him yet. Like,
well, defense is just as important as offensive. So, but the thing is though that out of all of it, Dark Convergence breaks both.
It does. It breaks everything. Like, a set like that breaks everything.
It does too much damage, and it doesn't care how much you wear armor-wise.
Right.
And it basically is only really useful for mage-type characters, which is it's essentially another Necrotic Orb. It's Necrotic Orb, but for PvP. And I don't like that. I don't like these one things that like everyone has to have.
I think Dark Convergence is and set bonuses like that. They take it a step further. They take something that's really good on a certain class or race or role, and they give it something that it doesn't have already. Because like, every class can get Razor Caltrops. Every race, every class, and it doesn't cost much.
Yeah.
It's in the assault tree. All you have to do is PvP. You'll get it.
And you can even buy it pretty cheap now. Like,
Dark Convergence, you can. It takes that one skill that everybody has access to and makes it a death bomb. Yep.
And it doesn't matter what you play. You can be a healer. You can be a healer and pop Dark Convergence, and guess what? Because negative damage is healing.
Right.
That means that you're probably in a good position to do a good amount of damage with it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, most healers are stacking spell power.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you stacking spell power? Because that's where your healing comes from. It's damage, but it's negative damage. So guess what? If you have all that shit and you proc it, because it is based off your weapon and spell damage, right?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's based off... I know it's based off something like that. And nonetheless, it's based off something that a damage dealer would have. Healers have the same stats in a different way, which means that healers can Dark Convergence kill you all. A healer.
Yes.
Like, no. A healer should be able to defend themselves, but they shouldn't be able to make death balls.
Right. Because it's not the point of what they're doing.
No, they're there to make you survive from death balls.
Right. Which only come from certain places.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's...
Like certain classes.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it should be.
Yeah. We're coming back into the area where it's like, we're making stuff accessible to everybody, but like, you break shit doing that because this is group play. It's not meant for everybody to be doing the same thing.
Difficult gear should require difficult play.
It should.
And now it's going to make sure that you don't really need to worry about that.
Yes.
So we're going to have people now who don't know their class because they're going to be playing a second spec. I'm going to say that even if you know your class, you might not know the way to play another version of that class. So you're going to have people who don't know their class playing with gear that they got handed out easily in deathmatch and in your dungeons and in your groups. And you're going to have these people who are wearing good gear with a class that they basically have no clue on how to play. And for the first month or two, we're going to have just tons of issues where everyone's trying to work out stupid shit. And then it should be ironed out if Dark Convergence gets fucking thrown away, hopefully. I mean, like, honestly, I don't even know how you'd balance it. Like, I think the only way to balance it would be to take away the group pull-in.
Yeah.
Like,
I do want to say this before getting off, I guess, the subject or whatever. Or before, right? I want to make sure this gets said before all this wraps up. But like, so they wrote in this post in today's update. One thing to keep in mind is the random queue will include all game modes, and they phrased this incorrectly to make it seem like only deathmatch players are going to have a higher chance, right?
Yes.
It says random game modes will include all flag games, land grabs, and deathmatch too. So the likelihood of getting deathmatch is going to be higher for those queuing into that game mode specifically.
Here's the thing.
Not just those people.
The way they phrase it could be taken two ways. It means that as either a clear statement of deathmatch only will make it a higher chance you get into deathmatch, which would make sense, or it's literally saying what we've been saying, that because of this, everyone's going to be playing deathmatch.
Yeah, because it's included in the random games, everybody's going to get stuck playing it. If there really is, and I'm not against it, like as a game option. I'm not against you being able to queue deathmatch. I'm against you being able to fuck with my gameplay.
Yeah.
Because you're queuing into deathmatch.
Well, I want to play the game where I want to play it. And the thing is that we all should be able to play how we want to play.
Right.
No one is saying that you can't play team deathmatch. I'm saying I don't want to play it every time I queue Battleground.
Right. The other part of this is, it says, we'll continue to monitor the sentiment and participation rates for Battlegrounds once this rolls out next month, and we'll let you know if we plan for any additional changes. Okay. Alright. You can't really monitor for sentiment and participation rates if you're doing something you know is going to skew the outcome, right?
Well, here's the thing. They're saying this. What they said before was that they noticed everyone was just playing team deathmatch.
Right.
Well, now what you've done is literally skew the results of the test by saying we're all going to play team deathmatch. So what's going to happen is that in a year's time, they're going to come back to it and be like, maybe we should do the test again.
Yeah.
Why should we do the test again? Well, we've noticed that there's an uptick in people playing team deathmatch.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
But there's something built in that makes that
Yeah.
that way.
And then, why are people going to play other game modes like Team Deathmatch? Because 90% of their games are Team Deathmatch. So they just play Team Deathmatch.
Yeah, because they're stuck playing it.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Well, even if you're not playing it, you're playing Capture the Relic.
Right.
Well, guess what? You just came off 6 games of Team Deathmatch.
Right.
So you're going to play more like Team Deathmatch.
Right.
Fucking of course you are.
Yeah.
So this is literally creating the issue that they were seeking to solve
Yes.
with the original change. They were originally trying to see what about Team Deathmatch? Why are people playing it? They want to see how many people will just play Team Deathmatch. They want to know how many people specifically will just play Team Deathmatch.
It wasn't enough to just leave it Team Deathmatch only.
Right, so now they've left the results being, well, now there will be.
Yeah.
Now there's no choice. Now if you want to play Capture the Relic, you got to play 6 games of Team Deathmatch. They left it. They let the result of this right here.
Yeah.
Will guarantee the outcome that they saw in the first post.
Yes.
The first thing said
is going to now be guaranteed.
Is now the truth.
Yes.
Because they've rewrote it in a way that it seems like they solved an issue, but they just created one and then compounded it with enough fake bullshit and dark lines crossed in everything where you can't see what's going on. And now we just don't know enough information to have an actual topic about it.
Right. It's this part right here that messes things up. The likelihood of getting to deathmatch is going to be higher for those queuing into that game mode specifically.
Which is in reference to random
why.
queue.
Your random queue is going to turn into a deathmatch queue because somebody it's cool. All right, I don't not believe that half the game wants to play deathmatch, but I do believe by proxy that the other half of the game doesn't want to play it.
I would say there's about a 30% that leans on both, where they're like, yeah, I can, and yeah, I don't really care. I don't care, and whatever.
It's okay. So if half the people want to play, you've got some number of those that don't care one way or the other.
Right.
If the other half people don't want to play, you've got some number of those that don't care one way or the other.
Right.
But what you've done here is that 50% of the people really would prefer deathmatch.
Then
it's going to turn it into 70 to 80%, somewhere in that realm of players playing deathmatch.
And that's going to become the issue, is that they set up a standard in which they thought the issue was. They thought the issue was that people were just playing deathmatch. They wanted a solution to that issue, so they tried to get more data.
Right.
The way they're setting the rules now is that the data will be collected in favor of Team Deathmatch, meaning that they're gonna scrap it anyway eventually.
Yeah.
I think that really what I think it is they're trying to run down costs. I don't know that. I don't have a reason to think that. I don't have any evidence that supports it. I just want to say that in my own mind, I think that this is a way for them to cut game modes that run up server cost and then say fuck it.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
And they're setting a skew that's going to favor Team Deathmatch, which was originally the issue, and they got a polarizing thing from it. People they say that people were upset.
Yeah.
Why were they upset? Because I personally like Team Deathmatch. I don't like it that much.
Yeah.
I don't like it enough to be only PvP. I think, even I played Call of Duty for a little bit. Never really got into it that much. Think about it this way. 90% of the people who play Call of Duty, they play Team Deathmatch.
Right.
Or solo deathmatch, right? That's 90% of the people.
Right.
But here's the thing about it. How many people play the other games like Heist?
Yeah.
Which was in Black Ops 4, or the gun game, or whatever, the fun games. Man, there aren't a lot of people that queue into those game modes, but those are fun game modes. So when you specifically queue into them, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play gun game, and that's fun. Or Halo playing Capture the Flag. Those were important modes.
Yeah.
Team Deathmatch was the mode that everyone filtered into just to go shoot things.
Right.
Then you had the games that were actually the ones for the people who wanted to really play tactically.
Yeah.
And I think they just don't want to balance it.
Yeah. They even, this was even seen in PUBG, when I was playing regularly, they took a small map, a small section of the big map, and they were like, all right, or no, hold on, those were quick battle royale games, but they did add a team deathmatch function in on a tiny map, which is fine, but it was the only thing you could play on the tiny map.
Right.
Like, when
which
you
is
run into where you're segmenting out like what people can play, you need to look at this is that issue of everybody or nobody.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah,
It's
because
either we cater to everyone, or we don't, or we just don't cater.
we just play a game.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
part of the game. Like,
and I would prefer that they just went back to what it was and we just play as it was, because there wasn't any issue.
no,
The game modes, yeah, like, look, I'll be honest with you, sometimes they got boring.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm not a big PvPer, but like sometimes I just don't really want a PvP. Sometimes I want a PvP, and when I PvP, I'd rather just play PvP and have no other issues, not have to sit around and be like, all right, we're gonna get into team deathmatch, and then we're gonna do another team deathmatch, and then another one, and then we might get a relic.
right.
It throws a monkey wrench entirely, and we've said that for every single one of them. Is that all these new changes come with exponential downsides,
Yeah,
and while at the same time, the only one that doesn't have an upside to it, really, in any way, is the battleground changes.
yeah,
This is going to skew it. This is going to make it different. The battlegrounds didn't need to change. All they needed to do was add more maps and more variety, and then that was it. Like, and they didn't even have to add more variety, really. Just new maps would have been all right.
yeah. I think this probably, like, after us talking it out, I think this is probably like some of the, because I saw a headline on something, and I don't know if it was a video or an article or what it was, but that was, I can't remember if I mentioned this early on in the video. I know we've talked about it, but so you have a sentiment out there that drove this. The headline was players in a big way talking about not playing anymore.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't think it'll drive me out unless they drastically change a lot more. But these in and of themselves, after talking them out,
They're not good changes.
they're not fun. Like, more so than bad, they're not good, right?
Right.
Not in a big enough way.
The only one I like out of any of these changes, really, out of everything in this patch, there's only two things I care for: a new zone,
Yeah.
and the armory system.
Right.
Personally, I understand the armory system's polarizing. I think it's okay. I think it's good. I think it's gonna cause issues.
Yeah.
I think it's good though. I think it's a good system, but I think they're also monetizing it, which is bad. So, like, still, the only things that I care about: armory system and a new zone.
Right.
The other changes are just, I don't even know why they're doing it.
Right.
I have
They
no.
put new item sets in, like the gear sets. They're not even really good.
They're not
Most
as
of the
they're
vids
not
are
as good as what
bad.
we have from, like, even Deadlands Assassin, the one you got like in Bog Raider and shit like that. Like, those sets are better.
Yeah.
Like the sets that came from Blackwood.
Right.
Those are better sets than the Overland and Dungeon stuff sets that we're getting in the next patch.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that not every set needs to be Dark Convergence, and it shouldn't be, but we probably need sets that are, I mean, come on, this is a game that goes forward, and I understand that some sets are going to get left behind and replaced and stuff like that, and while I don't like that as much, I want old sets to get buffed up. I also want the game to have a consistent amount of new inventive ideas on their sets that increase the power of the character just a little bit, like just tiny little bit.
Yeah.
The new shit should be a little more powerful, and this stuff is just bad.
Yeah, because the content to get it is for sure hard.
Right, so like you're doing new content, which is going to be more difficult. That means that you should get better gear. That's how it works. And while I I farmed out my automaton set, and I'll probably never replace it because it just does so many raw stat.
Right.
I'll tell you this: Briarheart's starting to look like might be replaced someday, and I might replace it with just any of the new big sets that are coming out within any of the recent DLCs and expansions. But this sets here, these ones, I don't care for.
Yeah.
And the new mythic items that are coming out, we hadn't talked about those, but it's all right. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
But
I think for the most part they're decent. I don't.
Mythic items are their own thing, though. They don't have to
They
fall in line with anything. But I think out of everything today, I mean, it's kind of just a disappointing patch. With some good system updates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's time to wrap up here, though.
Yep. I think there's a lot of stuff coming. I don't know if it's good for the game or if it's not. I know my personal sentiment is that most of it is not good for the game. But I guess we'll see at some point. So that's all I've got for this video.
That's all I got for this video. I'm getting a call right now from my brother. He's texting me and calling me, so I should probably get to answering that. He happened to do it right as... Oh, there he is. My bad. I told him I'm recording, and he said, my bad. It's... Yeah, all right, sinner. Stop it. Like, that's his name, by the way. If anyone wants to check out his channel, apparently he did his upload. Oh, so I'm going to give a little call out to my brother, not the only sinner, at the end of this video. I'm sure he probably will appreciate if you guys go out there and check it out. He's doing lore books, reading them from the Elder Scrolls franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is pretty cool. I mean, he's my brother, my actual biological brother, so I need to call him out for it. Even though I know we discussed it before, it's, blood. So, calling him out. Sinner, make sure you gets them books done, because he was having a little bit of complications with them.
Yeah.
But I guess he's on it now, which I told him once you upload your first video, that's really where it starts. And I think he's got it. I think he's got what it takes. He's got a very good reading voice. So go check it out if you want to get some more lore dumps. And stick around for this channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe as well, and hit the bell icon for the notifications whenever we do upload. And this has been Spy and Jack over here talking about video games sometimes. And remember, everybody, Morrowind will eventually come. If you just stick around long enough, you'll hear more about Morrowind and how much we really care about Morrowind. And you guys might have heard in our last video a little bit about snake bits. You don't know nothing, I promise. Nothing ever was going on there. We're never gonna talk about what happened there.
That's probably for the best.
It's probably for the best to leave snake bits out. I'll tell you this, guys. I really appreciate all of you and the support on this channel. By the way, we've really come a long way in this channel, and it's become more of a thing for us as well. Like, we've really grown into our station here, and we're happy to have a bigger audience every day. When we wake up, we see how many people like subscribe and like the videos and come back every day, and it's we have our own metrics here and we can see them, and it's honestly astonishing that you guys actually like care enough about this channel sometimes, because we care a lot about this channel, but I was just surprised to find out that there were another 1,100 people who would also really want to watch it. And when we first started this, we didn't know like if this would become a thing, but as soon as we started it, started rolling, and we're just really happy you all came along for the ride.
Yeah.
Either way, though, thank you all for watching. This has been us talking about Morrowind, and I'll see y'all later.
See ya.